Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. You're taking a look at Compass and her new friend Willow. That is Willow who's doing the jumping there. Joining us with Compass and Willow is Beverly Elbrick, who's also known as the Pooch Coach, and as always, she has some great ways to train our pooches around the house. Today, what we're going to talk about is getting them to drop something, right? On command.
Yep. So what we're going to do is, Willow's new to us. She's from Pets Unlimited, and you'll find out how to contact them later. They're a non-profit shelter as well as a veterinary, 24-hour vet. So what I want to work with you today on is, the folks at home, is to teach them about drop it. And drop it is important for a couple reasons. One is your dog could pick up something they shouldn't, like a chicken bone or a child's toy, and we need to make sure they can get rid of it.
Right.
They can also be protective of their own bones and things. If they're chewing on a bone or a toy, we want to make sure they're willing to release it to us and don't think it's theirs to protect.
Sure.
In nature,
so
that's natural.
If you're playing fetch or something like that and you throw the ball, you want them to drop it at your feet, something like that. Sure.
Or if they're just chewing on a bone at home and you want to take it away from them, they should be willing to release it. The problem is that when dogs don't release, what happens is it's called resource guarding. If they're trying to hold on to the bone, like if you're petting a dog, they should just continue to chew friendly and no problem. They shouldn't get all tensed up. If they do get tensed up, if they growl, call a professional. You need some help with a behaviorist. If they don't, though, you're just going to do these exercises to get them to easily release it for now and for the rest of their life. Always be practicing it to make sure that they're not guarding their food, which is natural in nature. Compass. Which is natural in nature, because in nature, you want to make sure that dogs have to protect their own food. It's called natural selection, right?
Sure.
If they don't protect their food, they starve to death. So that's natural. But we feed them 2 good meals a day usually and some treats, so they shouldn't be guarding around us. So first, let me demonstrate on Compass. Compass, sit. Good girl. Here you go. Take this. Oh, she's going to know what I'm going to do, aren't you? Yeah, I didn't tell you to drop it, did I? She knows the routine too well. Compass. She's too well trained. She also knows that she also knows there's other dogs around too, and she's being polite. Just stay right here. The other dog's not going to take it. Good girl. You want to eat it? You can eat it. Well, she's already dropping it, as you see. She's not food obsessed at all, so that'll be okay. You can eat it, baby. There she goes. Now she's eating it. Now I'm going to say drop it. In the middle of her chewing, she still will spit it out. That's the ultimate you can get a dog to do, and that's great. But let's start with her, with the basics. What do you do at home to get your dog up to that point?
Hello, Willow.
I'm going to give Willow a bone. You want this? Yeah, sure she does. Sit. Sit. Always making them work for everything. They're the bones. So now she's going to have that. The first thing you do is what I call trade for treat. That's showing the dog the treat in their nose. The only way they can take the treat from you is by simply...
There we go.
Yeah, is by dropping the bone, just like that. So that's the only way she can take the treat, is by dropping the bone. So I say trade for treat. Drop it. Good girl. I pick up the bone.
Okay.
So she doesn't even know what she's doing. She's just trying to get to the treat. It's a natural reflex.
Sure.
That's the first stage, and you do that until the dog starts understanding the game of what drop it is. Drop it.
Ideally, how long should that be?
This should only be a couple days worth of work.
Okay.
Drop it. Sometimes it's in one session if the dog's been well trained already, because then they just know the game. They know, hey, I'm working for treats. I get it.
And how often a day should you work the dog?
You could just do it for, the most I ever work a dog, especially with something like this, would be a couple minutes at a time. Then they're going to get bored. So are you. So then what we're going to do is, the second step is delayed retreat. So like when you teach a puppy to sit, you say sit over their head, and you keep showing them the cookies. Later you say sit like this, and you give them a delayed treat, meaning you have to trust me. I'm going to produce the treat later. We're going to do the same thing with drop it. And I think she might already be ready. Let's see. I'm going to say drop it. Good girl. And then I'm going to try to give her a treat. See? Delayed. So I didn't put the treat together. Yeah, I didn't try to put the treat in front of her face. She had to trust me that if she dropped it, she was going to get a treat.
Right.
So that's the second stage. So again, drop it.
Hello, baby.
Drop it. Good girl. She gets a cookie. Always take it away, showing that I can always take control of it, and then simply give it back. And this one you want to do for at least 2 weeks. You want to keep building in that dog's mind that every time they drop something, and see, I'm petting her, she's still chewing, everything's good, this is all good, she trusts me. Every time you tell the dog to drop it, you always reward them with a treat. So they really, really get that.
Is there any difference in, now you're talking about a bone here, whether it be a dog toy, a ball, something like that?
Yeah, no matter what it is. It's just that they tend to protect this better because this is food.
I would think so.
Right, so they're going to protect food, like a bone, more than anything. And in fact, there's different stages. When you first give them the bone, some dogs might be most excited then and protect it most. Some dogs will wait till they've been chewing on it for a while. They get it all softened up. They put a lot of work into that bone. It's going to be a lot harder to take it from them.
Sure.
So in that case, you're going to have to practice it through different stages. Make sure you always practice with the dogs, sometimes in the beginning of taking him, after 5 minutes of chewing, all throughout the stages of chewing. And then the last final stage, drop it. Good girl. The last final stage of drop it that I have is take away. What that means is once the dog really knows it, so a couple good weeks of really drilling in, you always get that cookie, you're going to tell them to drop it. If they drop it, good dog, drop it. See, she's not going to now because she's not trained. But if I get the cookie, she will. Drop it. Good girl. So she's just going to tell them to drop it. If they drop it, good dog, they get it right back.
Yeah.
If they don't drop it, like I did with Compass, if they don't drop it, you simply take it away. Say, oh, no, bad dog. And you take the bone and you take it away from them.
Now, wait a minute.
And say no.
You're dealing with some big dogs here, and you're going to try and pull something away?
But it's your pet, and you've already been working for several weeks on this drop it, and they know to willingly give it up. And there hasn't been any growls or hasn't been any problems when you're petting. See, again, I'm holding the bone. Another thing you can do, hold the bone like this. Let him chew. See, we're best friends right now. She trusts me to hold this bone.
Right.
She now knows this is my bone to take, and she's going to let me take it. So that's all you have to do.
Okay.
Once they trust you, you should be able to take anything from your dog's mouth. This is your dog. And you want to make sure of that, because I have cases where the dog's chewing on something in the house or even laying on a piece of rawhide, and a friend comes over and goes, oh, hi, I want to say hi to your dog, and the dog bites them.
Of course,
because it's protecting something that they didn't even see. So you got to make sure the dog doesn't think at all to protect anything in the house like that, because you don't want to have, obviously, the dog be biting. So this is a great way to just make sure of it. And when now they know it's mine, I'm going to take it away. I couldn't even probably done this when I first tested with her. She was a little, oh, I don't know if I want you to take my bone when I first tested her.
How long ago was that?
That was my first. I just met her yesterday just to test it out at Pets Unlimited. Okay. And when I went to take it, she did a little snarl at me, and I went, uh-oh, but now she's fine, as you can see. Just a little bit of that, little bit of work, and she's good. So you just take it away, give them a timeout for 20 seconds, maybe put it on a shelf, come back, make them sit again, start all over, introduce a treat again if needed to warm them up again. But they need to learn to let go of it on their own. Want to drop it?
And as always, you're using the positive reinforcement of the treat.
Right. Yeah. But then it goes to a negative thing, because if they don't drop it later, that's the takeaway part, right? Then you're going to show that there's a repercussion. Because you can't always have a treat for everything. You're not going to pay your kid $5 again every time they brush their teeth, every time they do their homework, right? It's about you do your homework, you get to watch TV.
Exactly.
So you drop the bone, you get to have it back. If you don't drop it for me, it's out of here. You got to learn to listen.
And Beverly, you're saying that this should take roughly about 2 weeks of work to get to this point where they can
where they can drop it on command and take a cookie, and then finally just go for it. You just have to practice about, every time they have a chewy, practice. It's an easy way to do it. Just know every time you give them anything to chew on or a toy, work on it.
Okay. Isabel, you have a question?
Well, Beverly, what I was noticing is the Compass was very patient there, wasn't getting angry or jealous because you were giving the other dog the bone and the treat. That really is a well-trained dog.
That's another really big training thing. When I work with people with 2 dogs, I actually teach them to be able to do this, because a lot of times you go to give one dog the cookie, the other dog's jumping in saying, mine, mine. Yeah. I don't allow that. The dogs learn to take their turn with their training as well, just like a child should learn to take their turn.
So I think Compass should get a treat?
Yes, I did. She's been good. You want a cookie, Compass? Come on, sit.
She's great.
Get up, baby. Good girl. Want to give me a shake? Shake. Come on. Good girl.
There you go.
Good baby.
Well earned. All right. And you have a website as well, thepoochcoach.com, and there's a phone number on your screen as well, 415-643-3333. Beverly is always very educational. I'm going to take these lessons home with our dog and see if it works. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Isabel?
Great kids. We'll have them back.